Hey guys, Roxbox90 here with another deconstruction of your guys' EDH decks. So this one is from phatbastard0alkaline, I think that's how you say his name. And he sent me actually a Cedrus deck a little while back, but I'd already done Quad 9S's, so that one is on hold because I have too many decks to get through. But you did send me a Korlash deck, so I'm going to take a quick look at this deck. It's not an extremely complicated deck. He said that that the deck was designed for basic beatdown and zombie tribal. Fair enough. So let's kind of look at it through that lens and see the thematic things he's doing here. So he's using Svenska Magic, a Swedish site, I think, and it's a casual deck. The only frustration I have with this, I'll just randomly say, is that they don't give you any sort of obvious ways of looking at total mana curve and stuff like that. I'm not bothered particularly by the Swedish of the site. That's not. It's fairly well laid out. I see what I need. What's here. So anyway, the general is Korlash, Heir to Blackblade. So Korlash is definitely not one of the best mono black generals in terms of himself. He's not going to be your Voltron beast for the most part. You probably wouldn't choose him. But for fun, casual zombie stuff, for sure. He's 2/2 blacks, that's 4 CMC cost. He's from Future Sight, too, which is even cooler. He's a star whose power and toughness is equal to the number of swamps you control. Not zombies, swamps. So you really want it to be, Korlash is mono black. 2 to regenerate him, so it's a little harder to kill him, I guess. Although regenerate's not that big a deal in EDH. And then Grandeur discards a second Korlash to search the library for 2 swamps, put them into play tapped, which would be a really good ability, but in EDH you can't have more than one. So essentially, the only thing he has is he's a big guy. He can be a big guy for 4 that can regenerate. Not particularly scary or anything, but he's okay. So basically, what you want to do with Korlash is and what he did was to have lots of zombies, and to use zombies to boost other zombies. So he's got a bunch of zombies that let you search for swamps, that let you do whatever. He's got a couple of the lords. He's got Cemetery Reaper, Death Baron. I don't know why they're all like $10. It's crazy. Death Baron. Where's Lord of the Undead? Lord of the Undead. Micaeus. He's got all the lords in here, which is good. The only thing I'm not seeing, and he has Grave Titan. Helldozer is very, very good in EDH. Very underestimated card. He's fantastic. He's just crazy because if you have extra mana sitting around, he can just start blowing lands out of the sky. He's very good and very cheap. Grave Titan, Geth. Geth, I'm wondering about him just because you have no so-called infinite or large generating mana. You have a couple of these mana doublers, but Geth himself, I'm not quite sure how particularly effective he would be in this deck. Besides from just being a big, powerful zombie, which is fine too. In terms of his ability, I don't think his ability is going to see much crazy play in this deck. You got a good draw engine. I don't know if do you have the other. No, okay, so you have Necropotence, Phyrexian Arena, and you have the Greyboar Muse. So you got the draw engines pretty well down. That's good because you'll need it. You're going to be cycling through lots of zombies. You got a bunch of these guys. I don't see. Where's Gravecrawler? I don't see Gravecrawler in here, and he definitely would be someone you'd want to run in this deck. Digraph Ghoul also you might want to consider running as well, although I have to say that Gravecrawler and maybe that the other guy, I forget, he's the 3 black zombie who has Undying. I forget his name. You might want to run him too, just because if they wrath the board to deal with your zombies, he'll come back already for you with the Undying, then you'll start off with a creature on the field. So you might want to do that too. Otherwise, Filth is great in this deck because you can give a bunch of zombies Swamp Walk, which is just terrifying. But anyway, and then you got also makes the coffers. The thing I would say about him though, compared to your other doublers, he's good, but I found he's very slow. He's very, very slow, unless you have ways of untapping him, but overall he's much slower than Cabal Coffers itself. You might just want to run like a Gauntlet of Power as another doubler effect instead of Magus the Coffers. Just saying, he's pretty slow and he's not a zombie. Then you got, yeah, more zombies Solemn as a ramp card, of course. Undead, oh wait, you have Undead War Chief too. So you really, I'm pretty sure you got all the lords in here, which is good. Zombie Master gives also the Swamp Walk effect as well, so that's pretty good. And yeah, so I think you got the zombie tribal element down pretty well. You also got Endless Ranks of the Dead, you got Army of the Damned, which are all big zombie stuff, Patriarch's Bidding. I'm not seeing Living Death in here. You got the Zombie Apocalypse and the Patriarch's Bidding. Do you have Living Death? No, you don't. You want Living Death. It's simple. You want Living Death in this deck. Those 3 cards are going to generally win you the game if you have a bunch of zombies in play. Because you bring back 1 or 2 lords, you bring back 2 or 3 zombies, and you just win. So I would definitely have that in there. You got some tutors. You got a small tutor package. Your Wrath effects. You got Plague Wind and Damnation. Plague Wind's a bit expensive, and it's really not as good as Decree of Pain. So I would run Decree of Pain over Plague Wind. It also draws cards, and given you're hopefully going to have some creatures out there, you want to be able to draw more zombies once you've wrathed. So Decree of Pain is definitely better than Plague Wind. I don't know what you have exactly. You got more stuff. So overall, yeah, you got a good Wrath package. You got a good tutor package. You got Murder. Murder it's fine. I'm not sure if I like the 3 cost for what it is. I'm not sure it's worth it. But if you're looking for room, a place to cut, that's probably it. A grave, not Grave Pact. Is that what it's called? Grave Pact? Not Grave Pact. There's a non-black. No, I'm sorry. There's a black pact from Future Sight that you 0 mana, destroy target non-black creature, and next turn you have to pay 3 or you lose the game. That's probably more effective, even though it doesn't destroy black creatures. I would still run that over Murder because it costs 0. So if you end up being tapped out, most of the time it'd be better. And then of course when you play against a black deck, you'd side out that Pact of something. I forget. It's from Future Sight. You can look it up. But it would be a better card than Murder most of the time. You got Vampiric Tutor, so I presume you're definitely casual because I know the French list does not like Vampiric Tutor, so don't, yeah. So then you got Leon of the Vast, Leon of the Dark Realms. Obviously, Sorin is up to you in your play group, but Sorin was definitely viable in a mono black deck. Definitely. If you guys like playing with it. Liliana of the Dark Realms, I don't know how good she is in your deck particularly, because she searches for swamps, so she lets you hit your swamp drops every time. So she also can boost up your any given guy who you're attacking with, or kill someone of theirs. I understand that, and 96 is crazy. So you'd run her for the same reasons I'm running her. But I still think she's only good, not great. She's better, I think, in a 2 or 3 color deck because you can grab your shock and dual lands, which are much more effective in terms of mana distribution. In this case, you're just going to be getting swamps. But still, I think she's a pretty good pick. In some ways, even better, I think, than Liliana Vess. Because Liliana Vess, really all she does, the +1 doesn't really do much in EDH. It's a nice thing to have, but you're basically going to use her for a Vampiric Tutor. The problem is if you play her for 5 and Vampiric Tutor and she dies, then she's totally not worth her cost. She really is not. Even though you had to pay 5 to Vampiric Tutor, it's not worth the cost. If she can stick around, great, but chances are she won't, because people know that that's dangerous, giving you a tutoring engine on the field. So in some ways, I think Liliana of the Dark Realms is better, and of course Sorin can fit in here. Basically, they're both good picks. Don't misinterpret what I'm saying. They're both good picks, solid guys. Karn and Sorin are both also very viable in a mono black deck. I've been running both of them myself as well. Sorin, though, is definitely up to your playgroup. Karn is just a beast, and I'd recommend him. In your artifact section, I have to say I disagree with Fire Shrieker. Why is it here? It does nothing for your larger army. If anything, I'd run something like Coat of Arms, which you may actually, but no, you don't. Coat of Arms has the backfire effect, which you have to be worried about, that if you play it, your opponent can also use it, but you're the one in charge with the zombies. I wouldn't worry about that. So Fire Shrieker, it's largely for Voltron decks, and it doesn't do anything for you here. Waste of space. I would take it out. Exhibition map's good. Expanded Lands, Cage Sun. So you got your doublers. You're running both Nightmare Lash and Lash Writhe. You're not running Inkmoth Nexus, and you're not running Voltron. So you definitely don't need both. You may not even need one. So that's up to you. If you're going to keep one, keep Lash Writhe. It's better. Period. But I would consider even not running either. Lightning Greaves is fine. O-Stone's good Wrath. Basilisk Collar. Don't know what it does for you exactly in this deck, but it's not terrible. I mean, it's a good card, period. I don't know what it's doing here, but that's fine. And Sculpting Steel, of course, is it's good when you got these doublers and artifacts. Top, Soul Ring, Whisper Soul Cloak. As with everything, Whisper Soul Cloak is questionable whether it's worth it, because it gives a shroud, so you can't target your creatures at all. It's also a bit expensive, and it doesn't really do much. Your Swamp Walk effects are much better than Whisper Soul Cloak. I'll also mention, because I forgot to say, but you have also a Grave Pact here. So you really want to have, I think you have a couple of sack outlets, but you probably want to have multiple sack outlets. You also, I don't remember if you had, but there's a couple of zombies who, because I'm tired, I'm forgetting their names. You may even have them in here, where when a creature like that guy from Standard now, the vampire guy, when things go to the graveyard, your opponent loses life, you gain 1 life. Given that it prevents people from wrathing because they'll take a lot of damage, you might want to have, because there's a couple of zombies that do similar things, where when a creature of yours dies, your opponent loses a life, you gain a life, or your opponent just loses a life. So things with Grave Pact and an outlet, and losing creatures from wraths and so on, I would definitely try to run those. But anyway, let's move on to your lands just to check through. So you got Arena it's fine if you have creatures like Solemn that you want to lose. It's not the greatest card ever. Bog is fine. Balcarver, as you said. Shizo, better when you're running a Voltron focus, but it's fine, I guess, if let's say you don't want a certain creature to be blocked. It works. Does its work. Subterranean Hangar is not worth it. I don't think. It hits play tapped, and then it doesn't do anything for you until you've stored up counters. I just don't think it's worth it as a card. It takes too long to be worthwhile. Tower is good. Reliquary Tower is good. If anything, I'd probably just put like a Tech Edge in or something. Put another Destroy Land effect. Urborg, Vesuva, Vora Stronghold. I really need to get one of those. Crypt of Agadim it's fine. It hits play tap though, which is a bit frustrating. And it's not as good as Cabal Coffers, since you really want to bring your creatures back from the graveyard. So I'm not sure how effective it is. You also may want to run a couple of things like Zombify that bring a creature, or Beacon of Unrest. Brings a creature from, Beacon of Unrest is better. Brings a creature from any graveyard back into play. You may want to run something like that, or Puppeteer Clique, etc. Scrying Sheets is fine. I saw someone recommend it below. It's good. Unholy Grotto's great with zombies. And you have 23 Snow-Covered Swamps. So far, the deck seems pretty good. I'm sorry, I'm getting better at my ramble. I'm getting better at saying what I want to say in terms of thematic focus. But overall, I think it's pretty solid build. You definitely have a direction for it. And I think it's definitely going in the right direction. You just, I think, need to temper it a little bit. Put in a couple of maybe the things I recommended, pull out some of the things that are holding the deck back, and yeah, but I definitely think you're well on your way. It's a very solid deck. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Please stay tuned for my future videos. If you have any thoughts, please feel free to comment them below, and I'll put the deck list in the description. As always, Roxabox90 signing out. I'll see you guys next time.